Heart sounds. This presentation is a part of the case presentations in medicine in the series of cassette clinics by Dr. Ghanashyam Vaidya. The purpose of this presentation is to tune your ears to the various sounds produced by the heart and to make you understand the various characteristics of these sounds which are difficult to explain when you alone are auscultating a patient. And of course, understanding is not the only purpose of this cassette. When you listen to a song known to you, you don't have to listen to the whole song to identify it. Just the first few beats of music and you have identified the rhythm and you have identified the song. That is what you should achieve from this cassette. Apart from the understanding of the characteristics, let the rhythm of each pathology capture your mind. I suggest that you listen to the sounds and murmurs, particularly the revision section, again and again, till the time you don't have to strain your ears to identify a condition. Now let us begin. First, listen carefully to the normal first and second heart sounds, S1 and S2 in the apical area, and get in tune with the rhythm of lub-dub, lub-dub. As you listen, note that at the apex, the first heart sound is somewhat lower in pitch and louder than the second heart sound. Listen again, because all the extra sounds and murmurs have to be interpreted in relation to this rhythm of normal heart sounds. In the aortic area, the second heart sound is as loud as the first and sometimes even louder. Note that the second heart sound is louder than the first heart sound. Now, as we move to the pulmonary area, pay attention to the normal splitting of the second heart sound, better appreciated during inspiration, when its two components, aortic and pulmonary, that is A2 and P2, are 30 to 40 milliseconds apart. Inspiration, expiration, inspiration. This is because during inspiration there is a fall in the intrathoracic pressure with increased venous return to the right ventricle and reduced venous return to the left ventricle. As a result, the right ventricular ejection time is prolonged with a delayed P2 and left ventricular ejection time is shortened with early occurrence of A2. So the second heart sound may be described as A2-P2. During expiration, A2 and P2 are 20 milliseconds or less apart, and hence the split is not appreciated by human ears. That is, A2 and P2 fuse into a single sound during expiration. Inspiration, expiration, inspiration, expiration. Compare this with the wide and fixed splitting of the second sound over the pulmonary area due to a delayed P2 in atrial septal defect. Note that there is no respiratory variation in the splitting of S2. In right bundle branch block, the split is wide, persistent, but is not fixed. Listen carefully and concentrate on the second heart sound, where the A2 and P2 are widely separated. The split varies with respiration, but they do not fuse into a single sound during expiration. Inspiration, expiration, inspiration, expiration. In left bundle branch block, A2 occurs after P2 with paradoxical splitting which increases during expiration. Inspiration, expiration. Inspiration, expiration. The splitting of the second heart sound is appreciated only in the pulmonary area because the pulmonary component P2 is heard only in the pulmonary area. Over the rest of the precordium, only A2 is heard. In pulmonary hypertension, P2 is accentuated. Note here that the second component of the split S2 is louder. P2 is louder than A2. Now pay attention to the first heart sound and its splitting. This may be heard normally in many young adults over the tricuspid area. Here the mitral component precedes the tricuspid component, that is M1, T1. The splitting of the first heart sound may also be heard in right bundle branch block and ventricular extrasystoles. When we talk of splitting of sounds or closely occurring sounds, we should be able to recognize the time interval separating the two sounds. In order to learn to recognize this interval, listen to the following sounds with known time intervals separating them. First, the single sound. Now, a split of 20 milliseconds or 0.02 seconds, where two distinct sounds are not heard, but a slur can be appreciated. Now, at 40 milliseconds or 0.04 seconds, now at 60 milliseconds or 0.06 seconds. And lastly, 80 milliseconds or 0.08 seconds. Now let us move to the other sounds that may be heard in diastole. The third heart sound. The third heart sound is a low-pitched sound produced during the rapid filling of ventricles in the early diastole due to sudden distension of the left ventricle and the vibrations produced in its wall, or the sudden tautening of the mitral wall leaflets and chordae tendineae. It occurs about 150 milliseconds after the second heart sound and is best heard with the bell of the stethoscope at the apex with the patient in left lateral position. It may be normal in young adults, but after the age of 30 to 35 years, it is considered as pathological and signifies a failing heart. It may also be heard in severe mitral incompetence and ventricular septal defect. If the heart rate is fast, it will be heard as a S3 gallop, also known as ventricular gallop or protodiastolic gallop. Appearing just before the first heart sound is the fourth heart sound, produced by atrial systole. It is a low-pitched sound, so best heard with the bell of the stethoscope kept lightly at the apex. It occurs 50 to 110 milliseconds before the first heart sound and varies with respiration. It is heard in hypertension, aortic stenosis, and coronary artery disease. In cases of hypertension, A2 is loud and may even be louder than the first heart sound in the apical area. Listen carefully. If the heart rate is fast, an S4 gallop or atrial gallop will be heard. S3 and S4 both occur together, a quadruple rhythm will be heard. Sometimes, when the heart rate is rapid, as in left ventricular failure, the sounds of atrial contraction and the rapid filling of the ventricles are superimposed. Thus, S3 flips into a single large sound, producing a summation sound and a summation gallop. Now let us compare S4 gallop, the S3 gallop, and summation gallop. Also, let us compare the fourth heart sound, with the splitting of first heart sound. This differentiation is, however, difficult. S4 is close to S1. The points to note are: 4 is better heard with the bell of the stethoscope and may disappear if pressure is up to the bell. It becomes in the left lateral position and after exercise and diminishes in standing position. It is better heard at the apex than the tricuspid area and may be accompanied by a palpable presystolic impulse. Now let us turn our attention to another sound commonly heard in diastole, the opening snap of mitral stenosis. It is a high-pitched, short, snapping sound occurring about 40 to 120 milliseconds after S2. A loud sound best at the stethoscope at the left space. Compare this with the lower pitched and slightly later occurring third heart sound. Now compare and appreciate the high pitched and snapping character of the opening snap. Third heart sound. Opening snap. And only for the sake of comparison, Listen to the wide splitting of the second heart sound, which of course is heard in the pulmonary area. So, when we compare the opening snap to the third sound, are its high-pitched snapping character, that it is closer to the second heart sound than a third heart sound. It is heard best near the sternum and not at the apex, and it does not diminish on sitting or standing. Next, let us listen to the extra sounds in systole. First, the common ejection systolic click, an early due to aortic or pulmonary stenosis. Ejection systolic click is a high-pitched click-like sound occurring about 70 milliseconds after the first heart sound. It is heard best over the aortic or pulmonary area with the diaphragm of the stethoscope. Listen to the ejection systolic click just after the first heart sound. Listen again, first to normal heart sounds and then with the ejection systolic click. Compare it with the fourth heart sound, which occurs before the first heart sound. And now the ejection systolic click. The aortic click is also heard at the apex and does not vary with respiration, while pulmonary click is heard only in the pulmonary area and may disappear during inspiration. If S1 appears to be split in the apical area and if the second component is click-like, think of a ejection systolic click. Now let us listen to a mid-systolic click due to mitral valve prolapse. Mid-systolic click is a high-pitched sound best heard at the apex, occurring about 150 milliseconds after the first heart sound. Compare it with the ejection systolic. First, 10 beats of ejection systolic click, then mid-systolic click. Ejection systolic click. Mid-systolic click. Similarly, note how it differs from the S3 rhythm, with the S3 of 50 milliseconds after the second heart sound. First the third heart sound and then the systolic click. Third heart sound. Mid-systolic click. It may be accompanied by a late systolic tremor due to mitral regurgitation. Sometimes there may be more than one clicks in the systole. Note the two clicks in systole. Let us now revise and compare the various sounds around the first heart sound. First, the splitting of the first heart sound. Now, the fourth heart sound which occurs before the first heart sound. Next, the ejection systolic click which occurs just after the first heart sound. And lastly, mid-systolic click midway between S1 and S2. Now that we are well acquainted with the normal and the extra heart sounds,